You know, when I look and I see that I don't have all the high show, I feel kind of sad, but then I realize I'm actually only missing 3 of them, which isn't that bad. I mean, the Heathcliff one is a shame to be missing out on, but, like, honestly, not the worst to miss out on Donkey and Roja. Hey, but welcome back to more Limbus Company. I'm SlayerMathis, and last time we did the Refraction Railway, and this time we'll be continuing back on with Canto 8. I had to remember what canto we were on. Yeah, that'll be fine. Training day. And honestly, it's especially not a big deal that we missed out on the Heathcliff, because the Heathcliff is basically just a better Sinclair. How refreshing! Well, I guess the morning workouts really do wake up. I've gotten so used to getting tussles before we get the real meat of the missions that mornings feel incomplete without some action. Nevertheless, this was a meaningful warm-up activity. So I've been meaning to ask Honglu, why didn't you ever consider participating in the family hierarchy war before? It seems to me that all your other siblings have been waiting and training all their lives for this event. It's simple. Because I never once thought that I wanted to be the family hierarch. Is it not truly most fortunate? Had you not been born with a jade, my son, you would have had to toil all your life, preparing for the family hierarch war like your other siblings do. You needn't waste your strength on those things to win the favor of the others, and Jiamu, venerated be their blessings. Simply witness as much of the world as it has to offer the jade of our family, my precious son Bao. More memories. What's wrong, Yi-san? You seem kind of distraught. It's due with the plans Miss Faust had explained to us last night. I find the plan rather detestable. Me too. But Hong said he's okay with it, so even call it a plan for being honest here. It matches the definition of a plan, given that it illustrates certain instructions to be followed for the purpose of achieving a defined goal. And please remember that there are no second chances in the family hierarchy war. Of course, we gotta be kept out of the loop on what their plan is. Gotta keep up the dramatic tension and all that. We wait for us to load in. Like, the Sinclair is, you know, the U branch isn't that, you know, they're fine, but if there's anyone to miss out on, they're the best. Young Master Bao Yu and his 12 companions arriving at Tubitong. We entered the hall where the first round was to be held. As always, the servant by the gate announced our arrival with resounding holler we'd grown to expect. An arena or stadium, I see. When he asked us executive manager, I looked up to see the audience seats, which were brimming with people, were divided into stair-like terraces. Now on the platform at the opposite ends of the hall, 3 shadows of chairs could be seen cast on the obscuring curtain fabric. As for us, we followed the attendant's guidance and stood next to the other participants at the circular area in the center. So, are the evaluations happening past those curtains? Dave? See someone you recognize? No, it's nothing, Dante. Even if we were to meet again, we don't really have anything to talk about anyway. Maybe we'll have another chance later, fate wills it. Things finally getting started. The curtain slid open, and the old woman we saw from yesterday's banquet walked out to the platform. Many scores ago, I ascended to the seat of Jiamu with a stroke of fortune. Yet a lifetime has passed since I assumed this great responsibility. Such as it is, I seek to abdicate and walk the path of mountains and streams as a river does. With the seat avoided, the responsibility seeks the one with the qualities of the family hierarchy to fill it. Thus here at Daguanyuan, a collective upheld by pillars of 4 great households of Jia, Zhui, Wang, and Shi, we once again ask you the perennial question. Have you brought us aught to prove that the answer indeed exists? Who's the woman next to her? She's my older sister, Big Sis Yuan-Chin. She married a very important person in Q-Corp and spends most of her time there. Looks like she's visiting for the event. Though I have resided long in a foreign nest, I now return fleetingly to share the love with my flesh and blood, to fulfill my duties as observed with the order of filial piety. I return that the truth shall be observed to the best of my abilities. Some of you may have walked a laid path gentle to your feet, yet some of you may have struggled through an unlaid, brutal path of cragged mountain and 1,000-fold to find your answers. Regardless of the severity of your suffering, all of you equally have but one opportunity for the first round. Even still, you all were once prospective heirs of the great house. Even your failures shall bring power and prosperity to Daguanyuan. Now come forth in the order you are summoned and demonstrate the invaluable answers to the question of the 3 freedoms. One from aging, one from death, and one from the brevity of life. If the nature of your answer be indemonstrable, present ironclad proof. Lose not and discard not. Let fresh youth be unending and eternal. After their respective speeches, Jiayuan Chun and Jian Mu disappeared behind the curtains atop the platform. First candidate! In the homie's father assumed the role of the host for the first round. Ren of the Wang family. Wang Ren, the first to be summoned, walked up to the platform. Behind him was his faction, who were dragging someone by a rope toward the platform. Hurry up, foolish thing! Who are they dragging to the stage? Whoever it is, they clearly don't want to be here. Free from aging death, huh? Suppose everyone dreams of escaping and rising beyond the body they were born with. A short pursuit of immortality probably isn't special in that regard. He hath brought a blood bag! That's when we're finally able to recognize the candidate dragged up to the stage. The eyes unfocused and red, the mouth slick with drool dribbling down the mouth guard, and meaningless snarling. That is a mindless blood bag. How does the blood fiend become an answer to immortality? In layman's eyes, blood fiends may appear to have truly attained freedom from aging. However, as we are now well aware, blood fiends can grow old and weak after a prolonged period of blood deprivation. Thus is unlikely to prove the answer they seek. After some struggle, the blood bag was dragged kicking and growling past the curtains atop the platform. So that creature's the favorite blood fiend then? I doubt that's what do as a job. Blood fiends would indeed be quite the esoteric knowledge, but for the judges of this context, I doubt that anything more than lukewarm trivia. That one kid must have been pretty desperate, huh? They're their laziest balls, that boy ain't rotting the upstairs. I'm doing the voice that I think that character is. Here's the knowledge of blood fiends is all becoming amongst the young. Indeed, blood fiends are present in every nest. 'Tis little surprise that those privy to arcane knowledge are well aware of their existence. After a brief moment that lasted less than a minute, Wang Ren and his faction emerged from behind the curtains and descended from the platform. Wang Ren, candidate of the family hierarchy evaluations. Stand upon the podium and await your judgment. And they ascended around the round podium behind the platform as ordered, thus announcing Wang Ren's results for round 1 of the family hierarchy evaluations. Elimination. No! Listen, all they need is blood. As long as you supply them with enough blood, they'll be eternal and everlasting. Venerable Jiamu, please! Nay, what awaits them is no eternity at all. Verily, I know not the shape of this true immortality the evaluation seeketh to attain, yet the longevity of a blood fiend, shackled by blood and endless suffering, is unlikely to be one. What? But those damn hunters told me to still retain all their memories! To become a blood fiend is to surrender all the desires and emotions that exist within thy being for a singular hunger for blood, and only blood. Perhaps that is an acceptable condition for those who expect nothing but fathomless torment for the rest of their lives, yet for those with much to lose, with much in life they cling unto, as those present seem to. The fate of a blood fiend is no freedom from aging and death. It is but a sanguine shackle to enslave their minds. A member of Bao Yu's faction has given an excellent reply. No further elaboration is necessary. And you have failed to bring us a high kindred, let alone a blood fiend at all. This creature's but a miserable blood bag. Can't even well commend your efforts. Here, Ren of the Wang family. They have spoken and mostly given you the full explanation of your mistake, proving that failed candidates do not deserve. Let this be the final blessing of your life. The podium suddenly opens up under their feet, casting Wang Ren and the blood bag to its depth with a blood-curdling screech. So that's what happens when you fail to pass. That was just for dramatic effect, right? There's gotta be like a side path leading back upstairs, right? Of course not. You can smell the stench of festering pain rising like heat from the depths. Yoshi, you've been honing your sense of humor, huh? Some pretty nasty jokes, though. Where's that hole lead? Judging by the time between the drop and the sound of the fall, I presume it goes quite far down. Probably leads to a place with lots of old family secrets. No, not treasures, of course, but trying to figure that out might get you a visit from a high show, probably. No, theatrics, huh? And we could very well be the ones screaming and falling down the hole later. Next candidate was summoned before we were even able to shake off the initial shock. Second candidate hails from the Hwell family. We sat through a few more names and subsequent failures. We couldn't hear exactly what they were talking about beyond the curtains, and unlike the very loud and obvious blood bag, the answers other candidates brought were less obvious, so all we had to go on were the shadows of their desperate attempts to explain things before the judges. Another one? Bah. It means boring as hell. The longer we watched the death toll rise, the less shocking they became. Any plan to fill everyone? 8th candidate, Bao Chai of the Hwell family. Oh my, look, we know her. She was technically our competition, but it seemed that she managed to give the sinners quite the positive impression with yesterday's brief encounter. Some of them were even cheering her on. You couldn't see exactly what it was that's way Bao Chai brought, but she was also holding something as she entered past the curtains. Bao Chai of the Hwell family. After her brief meeting with the judges, which going by the shadows cast on the curtains appeared to have gone better than we expected, she emerged. And as soon as she did, Bao Chai immediately turned in our direction, at Honglu to be exact. Ah, Bao Yi, you were watching me? And began excitedly waving her hand. She passes. The podium beneath her remained shut. Passing connection it may have been, yet I ill wish to see a familiar face be claimed by the abyss. Thus, I am glad. 17th candidate, Jia Ji-chun of the Jia family. Zichun's turn. She slowly ascended the platform unaccompanied. She held in her hands a tightly sealed gourd bottle. Looks like she found it. She found the water from the river we saw in Don Quixote's memories back then? Possible. She reached Letha? The possibility that she actually reached there in person is infinitely minuscule. There is an infinitesimal statistical possibility that she could have reached the river. Yet not even Faust can conceive how someone of their capabilities could reach the fountainhead of one of the deepest fathoms. This becomes even more impossible when considering the relatively short passage of time since then and now. A more likely explanation may be that she obtained the waters by collecting its dew or a portion of what has seeped out. Alas, the river's water serveth only to put to slumber one's memories. But doth it truly hold a link to the immortality they seek? Yes. It is likely closely connected to the immortality of the mind they pursue. As there are but an extremely small number of people privy to the knowledge of the rivers, if the contents of that bottle are genuine, Faust expects her to pass. Ji-chun of the Jia family passes. You have brought forth priceless treasure. Must take unparalleled effort to obtain this, given the meager size of your clan. Thank you, big sister Yang-chun. So as expected, all three judges appeared quite satisfied by what Jia Ji-chun brought before them. I love the dramatic. They just have the trapdoor in the middle of the room for fun shit. Also, yeah, N-Corp's here. Next, 18th candidate. Bloody hell, how many people are there in this household? 1 of the Jia family. Our first meeting with that man was less than amicable, and I had a strong feeling that another one wasn't going to do anything to improve that. Jia Huan walked up to the platform. We all felt silent, hearing a familiar name. Bastard. I could feel that some sinners were growing tense, some of them even gritting their teeth. And the other man, closely following Jia Huan, holding what looked like the egg of an abnormality, was also a familiar face. I'd seen him many times in Yisang's memories. Dante, you seeing what they're wearing? Ego gears. We speculate that they've either developed their own method of extraction or scavenged them from the lobotomy corp. Kubo carries what appears to be an egg of an abnormality. Planning to just offer an abnormality egg? Is that an answer to anything? While there is some room for interpretation, some may present a reasonably argued interpretation that abnormalities are entities that neighbor immortality. The linchpin of their success hinges on which abnormality's egg that ends up being. It's Big Brother Jia Huan, I know. He thinks he's going to risk his life for something that he thinks will fail. One of the Jia family passes the first evaluation. Contrary to most of our wishes, Jia Huan manages to pass the first round as well. Many more candidates came and went. One of them carried a massive, mysterious coffin. One of them brought a thick book. And one of them was presented a cage so tiny that we couldn't see what was within. Some of them managed to pass, while some of them were sent screaming to the mysterious abyss. As we waited and watched the candidates come and go, people from N-Corp, their turn complete, approached us. Yet early is it for twilight to arrive. Thus early, too, is this meeting of ours. It is to prove his own words back at the LCE that he's come to accept certain things as they are. Yisang clearly regarded his old friend, who is now working for N-Corp. You must find this small and barren respite of yours quite enjoyable. I've not seen you just as you do now since the League fell. What do you now approach me? The rift is too great betwixt us to chat around with any affection to speak of. Do not mistake my intent, for it wasn't I who desired to approach you. My teammate simply wished to have a look at his brother's face. I thought I might see as well how you were faring. Looks like everyone's coming back to Taekwondo Yuan now that the family hierarchy war started, brother. It's the first time meeting since then, right? Ha! That doltish fool has eyes but knows not how to see. I know you well enough. You normally turn purple with aversion upon hearing even a brief mention of the word hierarch. So why are you here? Who are you and your staking entourage working for this time? Is that Shui girl blinded by your looks the revolting rant within? Or is it Zichun who still defends you in your meaningless, faux profound spiel, deluded in her belief that you're still the same boy from her childhood? Why didn't you save him? No, let me ask you a different question. Why did you save her and only her, Jia Baoyu? Brother, humans die. That's what they were born to do. The next candidate will be judged soon. Candidates must return to their seats. You're absurd. You're barely even a living thing. Let us return. This discourse will not bear any fruit. What's this, a reunion party? That's just how things. Shameless bastards. Obviously here to nick our things again. Maybe, but something about them feels different today. Whichever is the case, the safer option would be to place higher than them. Another one falls. Someone has to be watching this, right? I wonder if they'll be okay. Sinclair mutters, watching another candidate fall down the trapdoor. I can't imagine how anyone would be okay watching their own fall like Sinclair, the people sitting behind us. There's Burns, the guy who just fell. We raised that failure as our own son! What a pathetic disappointment! Don't worry, I have faith in our third child. I mean, it's not like we expected anything from this one, right? Now you see what it means to dedicate your whole life to becoming the family hierarch. Many people desperately vie for the seat of family hierarch. Of course, some of them, like his parents, hope to, and have their friend or close blood relative become the family hierarch instead. Seek to seize a lifetime's worth of riches, power, and recognition by planting someone they control in the family hierarchy seat, without becoming one themselves. Con's got a low shelf life. Looks like I finally got to know how my long-lost siblings are doing, thanks to this unforeseen opportunity. 27th candidate, Pan of the Hwell family. Pan? You heard that name before? Ah, he's big sis Bao-Chai's older brother. Pan walked up to the platform, holding what appears to be a large jar with multiple talismans plastered over it. Is it just me, or does that guy look like he's totally up to something? Let's be honest, who here doesn't? Yeah, that sounds different. He's several stepping to the platform and into the curtains. He walked up to the podium. Mate, looks to me like he's completely lost the plot. Candidate Pan, you will ascend to the platform and enter the curtain threshold. What's the fun in walking down the straightforward road? It's only right that someone so princess and entertaining should be shared with everyone wanting to agree. He places the jar on the ground, and from within, a desiccated hand emerges. Pathetic sorcerer's trickery. Yoshi muttered with palpable distaste. What is he? What the heck is that? Corpses, their desiccated flesh covered in a light, sparse layer of old papers, crawled out of the jar and began to shamble. There are neither distortions nor abnormalities. The behavior reminds me of bloodbags or sub-entities enslaved by abnormalities. And some consciousness has been stripped from them. They'll attack indiscriminately. It seems that they're just intent on maiming and killing whoever they get their claws on. Just manager, let's prepare for battle. Your orders. The jar monster sat upon the audience, stuffing the struggling, still-breathing victims into their jars. Why aren't the organizers doing anything? This is still an event hosted by a wing, isn't it? Because there's a rule in family hierarchy that prohibits bringing harm to other people. So I'm just gonna sit back and twiddle their thumbs because no one specifically told them to step in? What the hell? What do we do now? Should we step in? We should probably survive and ensure our safe participation in the family hierarchy war. What the hell are these? Get away from me! As the monsters began to swarm, and some candidates scattered and ran away, while some stood their ground and fought back. Those who did neither were the ones getting slaughtered. Now, simultaneously reminded of Sod and the confident smile she flashed at me as she reassured us that we should be able to pass the first round with little to no trouble. It's like we have no choice but to take them down. Jar monsters. Oh boy, these motherfuckers. So, normally, your standard enemies aren't really too much to note. And jar monsters are a bit of an exception. Because, is it just one specific skill that has... Yeah, Tear Off and Leap and Crack Jar are both very painful. They can end up getting an extra 4 power for that. I believe that is... I think it's on themselves. At least that's the wording of it. Maybe that one just doesn't work, but yeah, you can see that's a deadly skill. That can end up at max power being a 7 to 27 on just a random skill. And that's guaranteed at least 9 free damage. Leap and Crack Jar is very annoying as well because it can inflict paralyze, is the big thing. Bind isn't too bad. The defense and offense level down isn't that bad either. But they also constantly gain attack power up. These guys are very dangerous. These guys as well, again, you can get another, they can go from a 9 to 35, I think that is. Yeah, these guys are ridiculously strong. And I believe these are a Luxcavation enemy. It might be, there's another enemy that's at least similar that might be what I'm thinking of, but again, jar monsters are very dangerous. And one other thing, This is coming in from an awkward cut. But they also inflict poison! Well, these guys do. Specifically these three-headed ones, the monster from the gorge, the devourer jar of loneliness. They all inflict poison. Poison's not that big of a deal, really, but it is still something to keep in mind, that it's more extra free damage. We deal with them fairly fine, but again, the jar monsters can be very dangerous. So be a little bit cautious in this fight. Don't be too disappointed if you do end up losing at some point. They're tough. Let me double check something real quick. Okay, I just wanted to check how long it was before another particularly eventful node, see if we want to do that. I will do this node, the thumb. That doesn't look like the thumb. Those were some funky-looking thumb members. Remained inside the hall after the battle was devastating. Many in the audience seats had fled, as the seats that were once brimming with people were only half filled. And the candidate zone down here was littered with bodies of candidates who were mauled to death. Meanwhile, the jar monsters, having eaten their fill, had already crawled back into the jar. I looked around and saw some of the candidates holding tightly onto the treasures they each had brought to the contest, even as they drew their last breaths. In the midst of all this destruction stood the cause of this chaos, watching the slaughter play out with assured confidence. How will you attain freedom from aging? How will you honor freedom from death with mind so dull and body so frail? What say you, judges? I was there before you, not only the clue to immortality, but also treasure that brings ruin to those who would dare to deceive you. Here's my answer to that perennial question. So what is the clay of the jar? It can be said that those who failed to survive this do not qualify as family hierarchy candidates, yes? Part of this way family passes. It's the pass when you got almost everyone in here killed. All that matters is that what he has brought meets their standards. It's like you managed to get 2 birds with 1 stone, eliminating the distracting rabble from the competition. Whoever runs to that bastard in round 2, you better let me take more than a few swings at him. 28th candidate Shi Dajen from the Shi family. But no one walked with the platform. As he has failed to appear, he is eliminated by default. Jia Zheng called a few more names thereafter, but 29th candidate, 30th candidate. The number of candidates clearly been called. None appeared. Disappointingly MB. Yeah, the mediocre bunch got wiped out from that attack. The leftovers are exhausted. Ryoshi looked around as though she was doing some sort of critique. That lug. That mother. Well, I thought, well, be. Thought you got revenge to the earth. What the hell you doing crawling around out here? Girl, I saw you giving me the evil eye. We still the decency to say hi, eh? Ryoshi, that guy's talking to you, right? In a very rare display of raw emotion, I realized she was anxious and furious. Do you know him? An absolute unit. Both ought to be at least 2 meters tall. Look at that man, Dante, and everyone avert your eyes as well. I strongly recommend that we do not say a word to him. That's right, Shrips! First gotta wreck them teensy brains of yours. Gotta think real hard about whether you even come close to my rank before running your mouth here. Shithead lay hang. It's a finger. The thumb is a syndicate with the strictest adherence to rigid hierarchical structure, even among the fingers. And his placement in the hierarchy is the highest among even their capos. His rank is immediately beneath the position of a soda capo, or underboss. A small mistake could drag us into a battle we do not want to fight. Please order everyone to not say a word, Dante. I don't know what's going on, but I get it. You're saying we're this close to having another Ricardo hunting us down, right? So why that? Do as Faust asked, everyone. Lei Hang began stomping his way through the crowd toward us, casually but forcefully shoving anyone in his way to the sides. His gait was as blasé and brutish, but I noticed that his eyes were fixated intently on Ryoshi. And among the crowd were some people in higher positions as well, but even they either averted their eyes or voluntarily got out of his way. He marched confidently through the frozen crowd as though he was familiar with this kind of reception until a cry rang out from the crowd. You there, you big brute! How dare you block young Mr. Nanggong Shanghai's view? I'll have you know that you stand for the retinue of the Nanggong family. The house that shoots shall be one of the great... Instead of a reply, we heard a blast of gunpowder that saw the right arm of the man who spoke out catapult into the air. The scream muffled as Lei Hang forcibly shoved his giant hand down the man's throat. Then, with the sound of wet meat being pulled apart, he ripped the entire length of the man's tongue out through the mouth. Young Master Nanggong Shanghai, ain't ya? You don't mean harm now. Mighty sorry, but you should have kept your tight leash on your boy's jaw. The young master of some prestigious house presented his right hand, though it was clear that he was utterly terrified. Lei-Hang proceeded to grab his hand and break it off his forearm like snapping a twig. I went easy on you, boy. Seeing a friendly face put me in a good mood. Anywho, I don't reckon you missed those spiders. Well, I can't imagine why anyone would. Gives me the heebie-jeebies too whenever I gotta swing by. We got some catching up to do later. I'll teach you how to hold your sword real good like back then. I'm the best out of them all. Thought I taught you how to make every cut real fucking delicious. Ryoshu, now is not yet the time. Faust whispered to Ryoshu in a low voice without raising her head. Shut up for a damn second. Faust stressed that you still remember the promise made prior to your employment. Get that stick out of my heart, kiddo. I ain't here to pick you up. I sure as only trying to teach you a lesson like I the back when. You bet you're still at that house, ain't that right? Ryoshu was grabbing the hilt of her sword that she was about to unsheath it. The same sword she refused to unsheath for the duration of our entire journey. Am I wrong about that? Just what in tarnation happened then? I ain't exactly nose deep in them fellas' business, you gotta understand. Guess something sure as hell went down though, didn't it? Ah, now ain't that something. You really fixed to unsheath that blade. It's Ryoshu. Quiet, but coldly stern voice, Faust calls Ryoshu's name. Ryoshu. Oh, dang it, what we got then? My bad, y'all. Really gotta take this. The underboss calling, y'all gotta understand. Alright then, I'll meet y'all later. We can talk about your daddies or shoot some other shit then. See you around, Yoshihide. Strange man turns around and stomps his way through the crowd again, his booming voice reverberating across the entire hall as he loudly and boisterously answers the call. He's gotta be here with the family hierarchy, right? The outcome of the family hierarchy evaluation determines the immediately foreseeable future of H Corp, which brings parties of varying, possibly clashing interests here. Heathcliff, don't you didn't rush ahead this time? I was worried I was going to end up like the time with the middle. I know a thing or two about the thumb back of my syndicate dice. About what happened with the middle, like I said, I had no bloody idea who those things belong to. Besides that sword, more powerful and violent than Ricardo, an individual we had encountered in the past. I found command some manners of terror and violence like that of the middle. As we were all sharing our impressions of Lei-Hang, I found the Ryoshu frozen in place, in the same position she had been in when Lei-Hang walked past her, spacing out. All the way to the pinky, huh? Ryoshu muttered something to herself, as even further chaos was about to overtake the crowd and the candidates. 32nd candidate, Jia Chu. Xiao Zhen called upon the next candidate. As we mentioned the name, the chaos that had swelled the hall immediately settled into a hushed silence. Jia Chu walked up to the platform, unaccompanied by his own faction, but not alone. Who are those people next to Jia Chu? I've never met them before. Must mean the bigger brother Jia Chu's answer to immortality. What could they possibly be? None of them appeared particularly skilled in combat. Excuse you, Alan was the leader of not the leader, part of a Star of the City general reception. Well, they're constantly looking around like they're nervous. They are... Faust believes that they're survivors at the library. Survivors? The ones who survive the impossible, inevitable odds, and the insurmountable force. If the only survivors who may be able to explain that very force. Possibly. Candidate Chu of the Zhao family. Jia Chu didn't spend much time behind the curtains. He walked out soon after, his steely expression unchanged from when he had entered it. The testimony rings true. They are both survivors of the place that soared beyond the star of the city before it vanished. Shame that we weren't able to procure ourselves an invitation then. He passes! Jia Chu's expression did not budge. That has got to be a foreign concept to that guy. And that covers all the candidates, it seems. The first round completes all 4 families who have graced us all. Excuse me. Like Jia Chu, whose appearance plunged the whole entire stillness, Hong Lu's sudden interjection roused the room to a roaring chaos of confusion once again. Bao Yu, what? I think you might have missed a candidate. What do you mean? I believe we've covered every candidate present in the list. You missed me? Xiao Bao Yu of the Xiao family will partake in the family hierarchy evaluations. And we have one more note that we're going to do in this episode. Because it's just it's a nice cutoff point. Isn't that Xiao Bao Yu?
What's that doing here, and what did she say?
I feel it's gonna happen, but we really kicked the hornet's nest, huh? Hark, one and all, and gaze upon our glory! In the 11th hour doth the final band of hero arrive! So, don't pretend you're not with us. And at least give the audience a wave. I don't think they're taking the announcement too well. A large portion of the audience is vociferously expressing their collective confusion, wrath, and concern. Emotions are expressed by their jaws that have been opened past a certain degree. As we're so observed, I realized the chaos wasn't restricted to the audience. The candidates were starting to get agitated too. There he is, the disgusting, duplicitous bastard who brings annihilation to everyone around him with that silly, innocent smile. What's going on? I thought Bobby wasn't participating in the Hierarch War. Dumbass. Sink. Explain yourself now. Miss Sawyer told me Grandma went to your store like Alex Penny she said the exact phrase. Oh, can't we just... She mentioned you too, Heathcliff. She told me that if you ever said anything like, can't we just give him a good beating and be done with it, I should... Yeah, what a throwback. Decorum! I demand decorum! I do not mean to risk having your body marred. Withdraw your name, it is too late now. I'm heading in, Father. 33rd candidate Bowyer of the Shaw family. Come forth. Ready, Dante? I don't know. And what about you, Ryoshu? I'm making you chopping. You can defend the shitty feeling. Are you sure they're going to be okay for us? Someone must be done regardless of the soundness of its participants. Fox spoke sternly. I still quite detest this plan. Let's be honest for a sec. Are any of us actually happy to go through with this? Okay, I guess there's the one. Hung, Liu, Ryoshu, and I walked up to the platform. Close, it was much larger, grander, and more imposing than I thought it'd be. Enter the fabric threshold. Once we walked past the curtains, the instructor saw Jia Yuan-chun, Jia Mu, and Jia Zheng waiting for us inside. I know not what's in your life beyond the hedges could have brought this change of heart. But to see you aspire to the seat of hierarchy is indeed a sight most curious. It's been a while, big sister. Has life in Q-Corp been treating you all well? Seen and learned much, as you must about you. Now I see your true reason for returning home today. I'm sorry, Grandmother. I thought better than to let this be common knowledge. So you did. Now that you have revealed your intent, withdrawal is no longer an option. Very well, now present the answer that you have brought here today. I'm sure you're overset that many people stand in the same place as I am now, explain to you what it was that they brought. So, I suppose you much prefer I give you a straightforward visual demonstration and make you sit through that another 1,000-word lecture. Honglu gave Ryoshu a nod. I'm okay. Our answer that we may be able to demonstrate before them is resurrection via Dante's power. Show them that to us death is but a temporary setback. The most dramatic demonstration of that ability would be to... I love this CG so much. It's like the first time that they ever really had any sort of animation in terms of any of the CGs. Obviously you have some with the IDs, but at very low bar and clear, I know, but it's like love Ryoshu's eyes in this. Dean, you certainly demonstrated something. Well, truly the least dreary part of today about you. It's the most effective way to do it would be for me to get killed in front of him. Not even for ambiguity at that. Yes. Then, does that mean one of us has to make sure that Honglu no longer lives? You no need to beat around the bush. Remember what we did to each other when we first met? And Heathcliff is the implication that you are still willing to murder Honglu without hesitation. Mate, you have to put it like... Really, I do not wish to have good companions more than I already have. Maybe stretch to say that it is fortunate, however, we seem to have an individual among us who may be able to carry out the task in a most painless, swift, and unburdened manner. Everyone immediately turned to look at... How would you like to be cut? Who's that fucker Leihang? Who's he working with? You know, slicing Honglu in half did nothing to distract Ryoshu from her own thoughts. Jiamu watches in silence, motionless in her seat. You have split his brain in half. If you irreversibly ended this child's life, not even life insurance should be able to bring him back now. Bow you! Well then, what will you do now? That means to restore this jade of the family for your transgressions. You'll clock, spin it. And so it turned, in one of the most high-intensity situations I'd ever turned in. The loss of fibers, the nerves, the flesh that was split all began to reconnect like a rewinding videotape. Wait, why doesn't this hurt at all? Ryoshu's skill with the sword was no joke. I didn't even feel the slightest bit of discomfort. Also, no death with the sheath. Not even Honglu realized that he was dying. About you, I truly realize it's been a while since we met. He's grown quite bold. I smell beasts. Dark shadows that appeared outside the curtains, surrounding us before I even realized what was happening. Bull, rooster, dragon, monkey. Naja are here. Task was to find freedom from aging and death, not to break a taboo and precipitate the destruction of our home. It's not been long since the family that once led H-Corp was brought to ruin. No arbiter nor claw shall ever family of Hong Yuan again. Jiawan Chun appeared ready to command the High Shield to kill us all, but Jiamu silenced her with a wave of her hand. You will wait. Venerable Jean-Mu. Once the resurrection is complete, the head will... We must end before they hold for about 15 minutes at least. To be rash in judgment is to judge incompletely. I wish not to lose either a treasure and a clue to immortality. And Honglu was whole again. Huh. Thank you, Ryoshu. Really didn't hurt at all? And you too, Dante. And grandmother, big sis Yuan-chin. See that? That's the immortality I found. Are we safe? If aught be owed, a swift vengeance shall arrive in time. Is simply yet to return. Jiamu's quiet utterance seemed to dissipate the forces that had surrounded us outside the curtains. Jia you. In the first round of the family hierarchy evaluations, you pass.
Bao Yu of the Jia family passes.
What trickery is this?
I thought he was off on some sightseeing to away from all you all like a jobless rich kid. Wouldn't even manage to find his own answer.
Thus ends the first round. Those who pass must prepare for the second round, set to commence tomorrow. Remember, the cannons are barred from harming one another between now and the commencement of the second round of the evaluations. This is your one and only rule. Thus remember it well, anyone who dare break it shall immediately be disqualified. That is all. As soon as Zhao Zhang announced the end of the first round, everyone in the audience seats began rushing toward the first floor. Getting mixed up with that crowd's probably not a great idea. Let's get out of here. Indeed, let us immediately return to Honglu's room. And we decided to slip out of here before the curious crowd swept us away. So we turned around to leave. So Jia Chu in our path. Ah, Brother Chu. Congratulations on passing the first round. I hear that you've passed as well, young master. Congratulations are in order, it seems. How is it that you, young master, who has not shown anything of ambition toward the seat of the hierarchy, suddenly emerges as one of its candidates, positively stealing the show? I know, sometimes people get swept up by random surges of ambition. Wasn't that surge of ambition your companies are not young Master Bao Yu's? Last means didn't confirm it, so it seems like they know as well. Have we not impressed upon you enough that you were to nicely remain within the borders? Instead, you walks up to sort out the fringes of its perimeter. I thought that his only role in society would be to be played as a pawn by Jia Chu, no more. My lord, perhaps you've overestimated this young master.
Are you still of the belief that an action is a path without consequences?
I didn't even get to say hello to you, Brother Chu. Bao the Jia family formally extends its greetings to you. I realize it's the first time we're meeting face to face since I reached adulthood. Speaking of which, make sure Big Brother Yihua and Mr. Qingtao's heads back onto the bodies. I thought it was the first to let out a flabbergasted gasp before the other sitters followed suit. I guess this is how these siblings of Hong Yuan greet each other, huh?
Knowing Miss Belchow is just a particularly nice exception. You ask a question that deserves no answer. You have arrived here, unprepared, yet ready to cast yourself into the flames for all the mere reason that your turn had come. If your mind hasn't changed, then it would have been wise to remain unseen and unnoticed as you were.
Yeah, thanks for your concern.
This facade of wisdomness and pensiveness worn upon your speech is truly intractable.
Do I do that? Noticing Jia Chu's hand tighten around his weapon, Ishmael quickly jumped in. In case you forgot, there's a group of running candidates who passed the first round for killing each other. Hopefully I'm not the only one who remembers that. If you're gonna continue to bully us, don't be surprised if there are consequences. Oh, so you finished preparations, right? Reinforcements are standing by at the front gates. What reinforcements? Which is why I'm warning you that taking any rash action prior to the start of the second round could result in a pointless skirmish for both of us. A loud boast of an illusory army in an empty fortress. Though I believe that sheer might is hardly a quality one should flaunt.
I'm not intent on fighting. Jia Bao Yu, you beget great suffering by endeavoring to embrace beyond your abilities.
If you still wish to challenge us and be broken, perhaps the outcome is something meant to be. And with that, they turned around and left us. It seemed they were only here to give us a warning. A relief. I thought we'd have to fight Jia Chu and his ice shield pack. Did see right through us in the end, but nice teamwork, Otis.
What an unbelievable impudence.
You notice how they don't even glance at the rest of us in the entire exchange?
Joy about Chai peeked out from the pillar before walking up to Hong Lu.
You passed the first round. I'm so happy for you, Bao Yu. Seriously, what's going on here? I didn't even imagine in my wildest dreams you'd be participating in the family hierarchy war. Congrats to you too, big sister Bao Chai, for passing the first round. Gathering from the fact that you hid it even from me, you really didn't want anyone to know, right? I imagine you must have cooked up quite the ruckus with everyone.
And I'm starting to feel kind of bad about this. Someone could end up lying to everyone. Make yourself over it, and instead.
If it's all the same to you, then honestly I'm so happy you decided to take part. I was worried they might have already left Dagwan Yan so far, far away from me again by the time I was finished with Family Hierarchy War. It would have been too bad. So I'm glad we can spend more time together, even as contestants. Don't forget to say hello and give me a wave if you ever run into each other, okay?
Joy about Chai left to rejoin her faction, waving sweetly as she did so.
And so, with a lot of things going on, that will do it for this time. Next time, we should be getting up to part 2 of the Kanto. As in, we will get up to part 2 of the Kanto, don't worry. You know what? Fuck it. We ball. We are going to pull for Middle Otis, because why not? Maybe we get it, maybe we don't. I think we're missing a decent bit of a middle team anyway, so... And we'll do 1 lunacy pull as well. Let's see what we got. Zweigregor. It's a fine ID. Let me grab it. His big thing is defense level up, and then he can convert that into, like, good support. He converts it more into attack power. So, like, he's a fairly solid tank, but I like Priest more for tanking. So, even if you're not running a bleed team, Priest of Launchland is just so good. I love Priest of Launchland. I love the Blood Fiend team. But that will do it for this time, and actually, yeah, no, we'll leave it at that. Next time, we'll make it to part 2 of the Kanto, but until then, see you guys later!